What's up guys, Damian Keyes here. So you want to build and grow your audience for your band so that you can start to get more and more people to your gigs, so eventually you can start to go on tour and tour the world. But hold on, because you've got to actually try and get people to your gigs, which as we're aware is very, very difficult, especially outside of your city. And there's a good reason for that. Most bands are trying to run before they can walk. And unless you can conquer your own city, how are you going to conquer someone else's city? So today I've got some hacks to help you conquer your own town, your own city, so that you can build that audience who are going to come and see you play live. And at that point, you can start to expand out to other cities around you and even other countries. So before we start, obviously, if you can subscribe, maybe even like this video, because we're doing this every few days and I'm so proud of what we're building. I'm getting involved in the comments with you guys, helping solve problems. So be a part of this community and hit that subscribe button. Now there's benefits to conquering your town or your city first. For a start, you know the area. You know the other bands and artists and musicians. You know the venues. You know the gigs. You know the colleges. You know the hangouts. You know the area, and therefore it's easier to tap into that community. You have the insider's view, and therefore that gives you leverage. Now, something we talk about in this office quite regularly is the house at the end of the street. So I'm talking 4 or 5 houses away. There is a student house who goes to BIMM, the local music college a couple of streets away. Now, what's frustrating for me is in my YouTube community of nearly 57,000 people, there are people from all over the world. I get comments and DMs on my social media every single day from countries as far as Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, like all over the world. And yet what's really crazy is there's a house which is 3 doors down that don't know who I am. I know that because I walk past them every day and they don't look at me, they don't nod, they don't ask me questions. We are literally neighbors, and there's about 7 musicians and they've got no idea who I am, and this is a good way of measuring what it is that you're doing. I want to make sure I'm providing as much value as possible, but I want to make sure people are seeing it, especially in my city. I want people in Brighton to know who I am and what I do, so that they feel like they can come and ask me questions or send me emails, maybe go for a cup of tea, go for a cup of coffee. And whilst I appreciate that YouTube is a worldwide audience, I have in no way conquered this city enough. Now, when it comes to conquering your town or your city, there's a few things that make all of the difference. Number one, how much content are you actually creating? And when I say that, I mean value content. I don't mean demands, come and see my gig, listen to my music, go and do this, go and do that. I'm talking about content that brings the audience value, that isn't just an advert for you or your band. Because people just aren't making enough content. I know it's very difficult, but people aren't making enough content in order to get enough traction. Number two, when you are making that content, where are you putting that content? Because if you're looking at putting some money and boosting some content in order to get seen by the right demographic, then obviously Instagram and Facebook is a lot easier to get involved in the ads and the boosting than, say, LinkedIn or TikTok. And also, away from the digital side, how much are you actually getting involved and doing in your city? How many gigs do you go to? How many venues are you playing in your city on a kind of week-to-week basis? How much networking are you doing? And how many people in your city do you actually know to have a conversation with? But while all of those things are very important, I have got 5 hacks that should help you conquer your city within the next 6 months. Number one, are you featuring your town or your city in your posts? One of my biggest frustrations is when I go and check someone's Instagram out and I can't figure out where you're from. I can't even figure out which country you're in. And then I do this, I literally start scrolling down, trying to find pictures that you might have tagged yourself in, or sometimes even friends, so I can see where your friends are from, so I can find out what part of the world you're in. Can't you just make it easier? In your bio, just put which city you are from. And when you're actually making content, why not start tagging in areas in your city? Because not only do people like me find out where you're from, but also people within your city start noticing and they start figuring out that you're part of their community and you're one of them. So please, please, please start featuring the local landmarks and scenery and venues. So not only are we getting to come on your journey, but we get to see what it's like being a musician in your city. Number 2, are you featuring the community in your post? Now I know most of you are not, because I go looking through your stuff every day because I'm nosy. And so I want to see other musicians, other bands, other music industry people within your local community, not necessarily just in music. I want to see them featured in your post. The more that you can embrace the local community, the more they will embrace you back. And how hard is it when you're out at a gig to start tagging musicians, tagging other bands, showing that you're there for them as much as you want them to be there for you? If you want to be taken seriously by the local community, then firstly, you have to take the local community seriously. Number 3, are you boosting to the right demographic? Yes, I know this one involves some money. And I know most of you aren't putting in money into your boosts. How many of you guys actually have a weekly budget for a bit of a push on Instagram or a little bit of a push on Facebook? We know that's what they want you to do, so why not start to play the game? They've taken our algorithm down, but £5, $10, $15 a week makes a huge difference. And then when it comes to targeting that demographic, why not put some money into your local community? After all, when you try and get a gig at the local venue, once they've seen you 4 or 5 times on social media, they're going to be thinking, this band's got a real buzz. Now you can do that with a very, very small amount of money. Even putting £1 or $1 per band member per week will make a massive difference. An extra £4 or $5 a week will make a huge difference and get you seen by a couple of hundred or even 1,000 people. Now, if you condense that into your local area, a lot of people are going to start seeing you. Now, think about the local venues when you start to get your next gig, when they've seen you again and again and again and thinking to themselves, hang on, this band's got a real vibe about it. They're building some momentum. I keep seeing them everywhere. They're much more likely to start giving you the best slots that they've got. Hack number 4, how many bands and artists and musicians and music industry folk in your area actually know who you are? This is so easy to hack into. I want you to set aside 30 minutes a night. If you can't manage that, 20. You can manage 20 to 30 minutes a night. And what I want you to do is I want you to get on LinkedIn, I want you to get on Instagram, potentially Facebook, and I want you to start searching for people. It's so easy to find these people. And just start saying hello, or even just start liking some of their content, start commenting on some of their content, and after a period of time, then comment and start to build up a relationship. Imagine if you did this for 20 to 30 minutes a night. You're going to be having hundreds of conversations over the next month that are going to result in some positive opportunities, or from saying hello, or from some liking and some commenting on people's posts. This is the biggest hack because it's completely free. It's just going to take a bit of time and a bit of effort. And hack number 5, are there any music industry events in your town or city? Because if there are, you should be going. But if there's not, this is a huge opportunity to start pulling the community together, start pulling people from the music industry, from other bands, and getting together on a certain night like a bit of a club. So let me tell you a story. So every first Thursday of the month, I go for breakfast with a bunch of other business people and entrepreneurs, people like myself who own businesses that are in the same boat as me, and we pick each other's brains. We come up with problems, we come up with solutions, we talk about how we're feeling about certain things, we talk about, even bits of politics, which is not really my specialty, but it means that I'm listening to people who are in the same boat as me, I'm helping people in the same boat as me. But you would not believe, out of the 12 to 15 of us who meet, you wouldn't believe how many times someone says, oh, you need to talk to James. James is from this place. I'll put you in contact. Oh, you need to talk to Catherine. Catherine does this. Let me put you in contact. That probably happens. We do 2 hours a week, every first Thursday of the month. That probably happens 8 to 10 times every single month. It is going to massively widen your contacts list, your networking list, and build your opportunities. And it's just a case of you actually building it yourself. Go and find a couple of other bands or one member from each band and say, why don't we meet on a Wednesday? 7 till 9 or in an afternoon after college and start to build this community so you can start to help each other and come up with creative ideas. So those are some hacks to crack your city, but I think conquering your city is probably the most important thing. I remember moving from Guildford in South England down to Brighton for us to set up BIMM, and at the time this city was full of DJs and everyone said there's no musicians in Brighton. Whereas now there's millions of musicians in Brighton. You absolutely can conquer a city. And yes, it takes time. Yes, it takes effort. And sometimes it might even take a little bit of money. But for you to become that go-to band or that go-to musician is 100% doable over the next 6 months if you work on those 5 hacks. So I want to know your 5 hacks, but also what I really want you to do is like and subscribe to this video because we're doing this all of the time. But thanks for watching. Leave some comments below of what you think the best hacks to actually conquer your city, because I'd like to know what's the difference between the south of England and what it's like in Argentina. So leave me your top hacks for conquering your city. But thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Storms coming in. Storms coming in. I won't break you down.